Some see it as an element, many important to life. It has given mankind power over darkness since the day he harnessed fire.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to the Digital Paul Workshop. It is I, that light that likes to blow every time you turn the switch on, Techno Meow Tinkerer. And today we're going to cover the lighting, some of the effects and importance of it, and good lighting. And one of the things that brought this about is I have seen some videos recently where people just got some poor lighting. And hopefully these can be some inexpensive tips and tricks you can use to increase the lighting of your video. And now what got me in also to some of this is years ago I did take photography back in high school and in college. So lighting was something we always had to be concerned about. And graphic design, when I was taking graphic design in school, I did take photography and digital photography because I saw how that went with design. Plus I always want to do animation, so need to know that. But during that time I ended up being put in charge of the videoing from my church, and one reason I got into it, I actually stepped up because every so often people want to make a copy of a service or a cantata, and I've seen in the past when my dad did it, made those copies for people, the cantatas, the lighting was terrible. You can hardly ever see anybody. There was harsh shadows or silhouettes. And the one that I end up doing for someone, the camera just so far zoomed out off of the stage. You saw most of the congregation. You saw a tiny person walk around pastoring, preaching. And so that got me into it. And one thing I always stressed when I did it was proper lighting, especially when it came to doing plays and cantatas. Because a lot of times my church would do them at night. And the way they would normally do the stuff is the stage had lighting above the pastor's, the pulpit part where the pastor's podium was at, and had lighting above the choir loft. Now, during the cantatas where they're singing, the one above the stage helped a little bit for the choir loft, but anybody actually on at the pulpit or in front of the stage performing, it was not good. The one lights directly above creates harsh shadows on the face, so it makes it difficult to see. And as we look here at my crew here, this is my team that helps me out, and they'll be help me out during videos. I got two different cameras. One's a webcam, one's a cell phone at two different angles, and the light being shined down kind of center, not quite center above, but close enough. And as we zoom in here on the left one, which is the webcam, you can kind of see the detail on Knockout's grill, a little bit on Tarantula's Atom. My monitor, and this is something else that plays a part, is if the monitors are properly adjusted, or TVs. I can actually see the eyes on Tarantula's abdomen from his spider form. And you see the details. Now we go over to the cell phone. If I know what to look for, I can see them, but I lose a lot of the detail in Tarantula's abdomen. I lose some of this detail in RC's left side. I even lose the detail in Knockout's grill. So that's one of the things it's directly above. And like I said, a lot of times in the cantatas, the light was behind them. And as you can see here, the light's more behind the characters. And it's just, if it's a silhouette, you cannot really, if it wasn't for the shapes, you wouldn't know who the characters were. If they were all very similar in size and appearance, you would not know. And this is what happens with a lot of cantatas and plays that happen in my church. And I've seen others very similar. So unless you want to go for this mysterious look, this is poor lighting. Now here I'm showing bouncing off the wall where you really get to see the silhouette. Now this is great if you want to do like a rising in the morning, or you really want to keep it mysterious. Yes, you may want this. But if you want people to see who is performing, who's on stage, the speaker, whatever, this is not a good choice of lighting. So the idea is you want the lighting in front. Now, like I said, having it in front above helps some, but you still run the risk of some harsh. What you want to do is have it almost directly in front. And like most news studios, some places they'll have the light up above angled down or angled towards the stage so you can see people. Or like some of the theaters will have it on the floor angled up, especially older ones use the light that way. Now, if it's too much of a safety hazard, you can't modify the building to hang the stuff because of you're just renting or leasing, you can always place two lights on the side of the camera or to the side of the stage is facing in. And this helps will highlight up your people on stage. And here I'm using the little the little microscope camera I bought as a spotlight. And as you can see in front, I'm using it as a spotlight. It lights up the detail of some of these characters. I can see Knockout's grill better. It lights up RC. I can see a little bit of Tarantulas better with it. We'll go back to the cell phone camera and do the same thing. Turn the light on. And yeah, you see how it lights up some of the areas now where was like, even when I move it away till I move it far, I can still see a lot of detail in RC just having a light in front. And this is what you want to do when you're especially when you're video recording, because the camera has a higher contrast than the human eye, it seems like. I don't know if there's a way to fix that on the cameras. These webcam, I'm not one I doubt it. Cell phone, you got to hunt around for the stuff in the cell phone. I wish it was a bit easier like the digital cameras. My digital camera is. Now you can kind of make a spotlight. Now here I made one using an old recessed light I bought from a junk store. I did this probably like 15 years ago. It was a project I did. And I just bought LEDs from the Dollar Tree and put inside in the blue paint from a hardware store. And you can see here it's a blue LEDs, but it works as a spotlight. And so yeah, in low lighting or dark situation, it'll be great, especially if I want to light up something. If it was white, it would be better for more things, but the blue, it was a project. That's all they had at the time. So you can kind of make it, because the actual can lights that they use for these things can be pretty expensive. Now that can be expensive if you buy it from the hardware store. Go to the junk store and find some stuff, and depending upon what you need, it'd probably suffice. Heck, you can even use lamps. For instance, I have this floral lamp I bought years ago when I was doing photography in college. Bought it from a junk store for a few bucks. I think maybe $5. Touch sensor, took the touch out because I wanted to be able to control it, and I'll get it there in a second. But one reason is it had a shade. I want to be able to direct the light to the subject matter. And I don't want the light shining on my camera causing lens glare, which would defeat the whole purpose of having a light by blinding out the camera. Same thing if you got viewers. You want some sort of shade. Now, doing video recording for your YouTube or anything like that from a desk lamp will work. You might want to set something up to work as a shade to keep any glance. If the lamp's too close to you, now you can put it behind the camera. You don't have to worry as bad. Or if you got somebody watching, yeah, you may want to put a little shade of some type. Remember there's like three-fold cardboard stands that you use in science fair. Piece of cardboard with a bin in it like that between the light and the viewer or the camera. There's a couple of different ways. Tape a piece of vanilla folder to the side of their monitor if your camera's on your monitor. But I did this, and one thing I did, like I said, I took it to the touch sensor because I wanted to be able to control the lighting. So I made this dimmer here. Now, I do not know if this will work with LEDs because I have not taken the incandescent out. I had to go fish the lamp out of my storage building when I started doing these videos. Like, I need better lighting. But this was just a VCR cord, a cord off a VCR, a dimmer switch, and an outlet. And this ain't made to handle a lot of current, so that's why I used the VCR cord. I'm just doing one little light. I ain't running a lot of machinery off of it. Now, I have used it for 2 sets of floor lamps. But as you can see, I can turn on the light and I can control the brightness. Now the thing with this, you have to turn the power on pretty high for the light to come on, but then you can dim it down. And for taking pictures or lighting up for getting recording, it works great. We'll see here with the example of my crew again. I'm gonna cut off the overlay, and then I got just the floor lamp. I mean, you see how much difference. Now I got the shadows broadcasting, so you would want the upper light on to keep the shadows down. But you can see, look at all the detail. Even when I dim it down on that camera, again, I have the upper light from cell phone view. Cut that off, and now you can see the shadows from the lamp. Look at the detail. I can see Tarantula's Adam easy. I can see Knockout's grill. Even when I dim it down, you can still see it kind of decent, at least on my monitor. Again, it goes down to your mileage may vary depending on how your monitor is adjusted. And so that is something that you could consider, is a couple floor lamps from Walmart. If for whatever reason you cannot put anything on the ceiling, or if you're worrying about it on the floor being a tripping hazard, to some floor lamps to decide, of your other desk, some desk lamps. You don't have to go right ahead and buy those ones that everybody talks about off of Amazon if you don't have the cash. Just go to your local thrift store, go to your local junk store, and see what you can find. Now, I'm going to show here in this video another way to light a situation is using a reflective surface as a mirror. Now, one of the things I'm using here is a disc platter from a hard drive I took apart. And as you can see, it helps light up some of the characters depending on, you have to angle it. And I've used mirrors, I've used aluminum foil in the past. I even use the reflective back of those sunshade things that used to put in your windshield that was popular back in the 90s and early 2000s. I had a set of those. They had a reflective backing, and I've used them for lighting. And the aluminum foil, you can just take a frame, build a frame, cheap picture frame, just lay the aluminum foil across it. It's good temporary. It don't look nice if you're trying to go for a more professional setting, but it works. Let's see, we're looking at this from another angle. And something else is, I still use the mirror technique. When I do photography for certain things, I have a table that I put in front of my closet that has a mirror on the outside. And I just use my overhead light, and when I'm taking pictures, especially if I'm taking facing down on the object, I just use my overhead light. It's on one side of the object, is reflecting on the mirror that's on the other side of the object to knock out some of those harsh shadows. And that's all I do. It's nothing really fancy, it's nothing really expensive. I'm just using what I have. And as you see here, using a mirror. Now, a thing to keep in mind with the mirror is reflective surfaces, and same thing with the light, is can blind your subjects if depending on how it's done. Especially if they require anything where they have to look directly towards it. But if they don't have to look directly towards it, or it can be angled like off, like if you got the light on one side and the mirror on the other side that's slightly angled to catch some of the light that reflected to the subject, then you don't have to worry about it. Kind of like I said, when I take pictures and stuff using my ceiling light in my mirror in my room. Now, another thing you can do, and like I said earlier for effect, is you put the lighting on the wall behind the subject. It creates a very mysterious look. Now, this is if you want to go for that, and then you can turn on the spotlight if you need to light up certain characters. Some theater plays I've seen use this technique a couple times to signify people, and then do a reveal of a spotlight. And that could be great. If you're doing like an early morning scene that you need, this works great. Especially like, oh, we're going to take the hill now type battle scene. Now, some of the other things you can do is play around with the lighting. Depending on how you choose to shine it, if I can speak. Like if you see here, especially harsh light, it can get real harsh on some things. And if you want that like a glowing light, get it for like maybe being blessed by something. If you do it right behind the person, it can create a glow on the person, and you can kind of see it on some of the characters. Like, no, I get it right behind RC right there, and even Knockout. It can almost create like a glowing presence, like maybe some sort of spiritual or heavenly presence. They used this on some of the angels in some plays. I think they kind of did this a little bit in that movie Casper of Christina Ricci, when Casper's mother appeared. I have to go look back and see that scene. And so you can combine these techniques depending, like if you could have it above, behind, get the thing, but and then have a mirror to reflect so you can see a little bit better of the character. So there's a couple different techniques. Like I said, you don't have to spend a whole lot of money on lighting. Now, don't get me wrong. I have worked with some professional lighting equipment with the can lighting and the proper faders, and it is nice. But we all don't have that type of money to start out doing that. But again, depending upon what you're doing. If you're doing something like at your desk, doing video recording, sitting down, a lamp, two lamps, a lamp and a mirror, these things can help. It's great if you can get a way to dim it. That way you can control the intensity because you don't need too harsh a light on your front to wash you out. Plus it may make it blind and mess up your eyes having a bright light that close. And like I said, you can come up with some different ways to create some shade. Just make sure you keep in mind potential fire hazard if you got something like paper, cardboard, anything too close to the light, because if you use incandescent light, those do get hot. The LEDs do get hot, not as much as the incandescent, but they still do get hot. And it's because there's a lot of circuitry in them, so they're more complex. And I'm trying to think, is there any last thing I need to mention about lighting? Yeah, like I said, if you're working at, say, like if you're renting out a place, leasing a place, you can't hang it on the ceiling. You don't want to put them on the floor because of worry about safety. Floor lamps work great. But for the most part, I had something. I just now forgot it. It was something else I was going to say about lighting. But yeah, I hope this information was helpful to somebody out there and you find it useful. If you like this content and want to help support the channel, please like and subscribe and share with someone you know. Have a nice day.